This is a martyr.
This is a martyr.
From Italy, that's been
From
brought
Rome.
from Rome.
From persecution times, i.e. prior to the conversion of Constantine.
Prior to Constantine. And it means...
it could, in theory, be from any of the persecutions.
Yes.
But the largest numbers of martyrs were martyred in the persecution just before Constantine.
Right.
And Constantine took over as emperor and became Christian.
Yes, he was political reasons more. Although we're not sure. His mother was.
His mother was a Christian.
Yes.
And his mother, St. Helena, who discovered the Holy Sepulchre in Rome and did a very good job by the standards of the age.
Right.
Now, Constantine, what was I going to say? The huge number of martyrs buried in the catacombs, Muslims arrived, and eventually the martyrs' bones, all of the bones by then,
yes,
as would the bones of Jesus be. You know, in France, you're buried in a vault rather than a grave.
Yes, yes.
In a tomb.
Tomb is a proper tomb, yeah.
Well, it's a tomb, but you don't put the earth back.
Shelves.
Yeah, they're shelves.
Shelves.
And you get that in a vault in France, and you get shelves.
Yes.
You got what looks like a grave, but they're shelves on either side.
They're shelves, yes.
And the coffin is lowered into the grave and shoved onto a shelf.
Exactly.
And the average vault has about 6.
Yes, that's right.
And
my family has 6.
Do you have one?
Yes, I'm French.
Oh, really?
Yes. Dordogne.
Where?
The Perry Sala.
Sala, Connie.
Yeah.
My sister lived in Saint-Vincent-sur-Île.
Ah, right. I thought you were going to say Saint Vincent de Paluel, because that would be...
And I have a priest who was parish priest in Bergerac.
Bergerac, yes, the main sort of thoroughfare. It's quite a nice town, Bergerac.
Bergerac. I think he was a Rosminian. He's French, and he said he got homesick for England because he'd become a Rosminian in England. He'd become what? A Rosminian in England.
What's a Rosminian, sorry?
Institute of Charity.
Oh, I didn't know. I don't know.
Really, but you know anything.
No.
And lovely story. And he had to go back to France because his mother and father, both in their 90s, were unwell.
Yes,
and
yes.
He needed to be at hand.
Yes, yes. One needs treatment, yeah.
And long story.
Yeah.
And I was going to say something intelligent.
Well, everything you say is intelligent, monsieur.
But this,
I'm fascinated.
You speak English absolutely, so you are.
Oh, well, I speak all sorts of languages. Let's not go too far back. Ah, mais votre accent is bien, monsieur. He's better accent than mine, because I won't tell you what's wrong with mine. It's Germanically influenced. But don't worry about that, yes.
I can see that now you've told me, but I couldn't see it.
You can hear it slightly.
No.
You can see my features.
Your French accent, your English.
Ah, you can hear the Germanic a bit.
No.
No, you can't.
I can, but if you hadn't told me, I wouldn't. I would just thought.
I had to tell you. Yes, I don't tell many people.
You sound like educated English.
Well, that cost my mother a lot of money, as she keeps reminding me.
My mother a lot of money.
But it was worth every penny of it.
Well, I don't know, in my case, in some ways was, in some ways wasn't. But the point
Anyway,
is,
yes, the point about this, yes. Never mind about us.
That case will contain the whole body.
Yes.
I've never bothered to look. They say you can
Corpus Sancti Primitive from Italy, and because the Muslims were after him.
No, what I can't see is, but that they're saying that you can see a bone. The reality is you can see quite a lot of bones. But
Oh, I can see a bone from here, yeah, this side.
Yeah, there's a bone there, and there's a bone there.
Yeah, a big one, this one. This looks like
I don't know what's in the middle. I can't see a skull. I didn't mean to touch
No, it's horrid looking at those things. But we don't really know who it is. Well, no.
No, so what they've done is they've given him a name.
Which is?
Primitivus.
Oh, right, but it's yeah.
And I want to explain to Father that this is, of course, a con.
Yes, it's a con, yes.
And when you say primitive, it's just St. Primitive, it's just St. Early. But it doesn't matter, he would have had a name.
Exactly.
And he'd have had a name in heaven. And we know
Well, exactly, yes.
And we know he lived. We know he was martyred.
Yes,
And we know he was revered as a saint.
Oh.
Because his body was taken from the catacombs into the church. I think it's the Church of the Apostles in Rome, which has these 8,000 bodies, not in coffins, but in little boxes, in ossuaries.
Yes, ossuaries, yes.
What do you call an ossuary in French?
The catacomb, where we put catacombs.
Yeah, but what would you call the box you put it in afterwards when you take it out to make room for somebody else?
Oh.
There's only bones left.
Le cercueil.
What do you call the box you put the bones in?
Well, the body, I don't know.
You put the body on the
The cercueil.
in a box, in a coffin.
Yes, that's the cercueil.
And you come back
I don't know.
6 months later.
Do you?
When you do the next burial,
Oh, I didn't know.
what they do is they
And
take the coffin out.
Oh,
And that's how you get 6 shells, but you can have 30 people buried in there.
because they pile them up. Oh, so they take them out and they put it in another
They
box.
take them out and they put it into a much smaller box.
Oh, that's, yes,
this
obviously,
is-
that's
this
where they
is-
chop the legs up and everything. Yeah,
Oh, that's what they've done.
yeah.
I wouldn't surprise me. That's why we can't see the skull. Because that could be. That's something there. They don't know what that is.
Oh, yeah.
And that bone there doesn't look like an animal bone. That's a broken.
No, they've broken them up because, I mean, yeah, it's not a proper coffin, as I keep going on about. Yeah, the first thing. It's not the first thing he was put in, is it? It's the afterwards. And I don't know the name of whatever because I didn't know the process. So, yeah, I shall look it up.
This is why you can dig up Bernadette's grave, and there she is.
Who?
Bernadette.
Oh, right.
And
Yes.
Bernadette is buried in a chapel in the convent garden.
But she hasn't decomposed, I thought.
No.
Yeah.
And I know a nun, knew a nun, she's probably died by now because I haven't seen her for 20 years, who was of that order, didn't know when I knew her in England. She was Dutch. She was a novice. She said, in my day, we still did our novitiate in Nevers.
In Nevers, in the north of France, she went,
the
yes.
superior of the order was in Nevers, and had as a young nun been secretary to the then superior of the order or something similar, and had been there when the body was exhumed.
And she saw it.
And she saw them lift out this ancient coffin,
Yes.
took it out, put it on a table. It was ready for it
Yes.
yeah, sort of probably.
And it wasn't decomposed.
And they were expecting to see a skeleton.
Yes. Bones.
And they lifted it, and there was a body, and it was still. It had no,
It's incredible.
No rigor mortis.
No rigor mortis.
No rigor mortis. The body was still.
Flaccid.
And they took samples of the liver. The liver was still intact.
They poked into her.
Oh, it was dreadful. It was dreadful.
that's
And the difficulty is this is why they have things like Teresa of Avila's finger. Because when you're dead, you know how you can basically pull apart a hen, a chicken.
Yes, it's horrid.
It's horrid. It's quite easy to pull a finger off.
Oh, once you're dead.
Once you're dead.
But I mean, she hadn't decomposed and they're poking around still in her body. It's a bit
liver is fresh.
sacrilegious.
The
this.
eyes are fresh.
The what?
The eyes.
There's something peculiar. No mummification, nothing added.
nothing.
It's miraculous in itself, isn't it?
And there are a number of these, and the bodies like that are only. It is not considered in evidence, but there is no incorrupt body that isn't for someone who has been a reputation of holiness.
It's what? It's
There
not.
are bodies that have been buried not in a church in Ireland where they've just gone shriveled,
Yes,
but there's no fresh body.
like that.
Like that.
I've not heard of another one.
And Bernadette's body is fresh.
It's
and
peculiar
there are one
one.
or two others.
Yeah. Oh, there's one or two others.
Oh, I mean, that doesn't. There's a book on incorrupt bodies by
Incorrupt bodies.
I can't remember what her name is, Cruz, something Cruz, and she's written a book on Eucharistic miracles as well. And it's not common, but it's not. Catherine Laborie is incorrupt.
I don't know.
Catherine Laborie, visionary of Ludovic, earlier than Bernadette, the same century.
Really? Oh,
And there's
so I'm just going to take what's his name, Monsieur Boston. Well, I don't want to be rude, but I just want to, before my battery dies, I want Mr. Mostyn. They missed out. Rudolph William Basil Mostyn should be the 8th Earl of Denbigh, and that's his tomb. Yeah, and that is not a dog; it is a calf or no, a deer or some kind. There. So sorry. Yes, you've been very kind. I interrupted you with the incorruptible bodies business, but this is wonderful. What's the name of this church again?
everyone just says Pantasaph. It's St.David's church.
St.David, that's it. It's a friary as well.
It's a friary.
And they do retreats.
And they're still doing.
That is the Polish
That's the Polish.
Heart of Mercy.
That's right.
Yes, what's her name? Faustina?
Faustina, and we must ask them whether they're going to be doing the weekend after
Yes.
Easter.
Yes, because it's now become a big event.
It's a big event. It's also a big feast. And
Yes.
It was Low Sunday, but it is, of course, the octave of, I suppose it's the octave of Good Friday, because it's 9 days from Good Friday.
It's just after Easter. It's isn't it the first weekend after?
We knew as Low Sunday in English, and I don't know what the name would be in French.
Oh. Well, I'm
Low
not sure.
Sunday, because the first Sunday is not a big feast day for a long time.
No. But this Faustina feast is the first weekend after Easter.
And her diary says that Jesus asked you to go to confession on that Sunday.
Yes, that's it.
She herself never did
She never went to confession.
on that Sunday.
Not on that.
She had gone to confession on the Saturday.
Yes.
She went to confession every week. And she was very, very keen on frequent confession.
Oh, was she?
She said...
Well, I mean, I don't understand why these saints keep confessing when they can't be really bad people. I don't understand the concept. I don't hold the... Why do people keep confessing?
have you heard of Sister Clare Croquett?
No.
Google her.
Croquett, as in Davy Croquett.
Yes.
Yes. I remember the name because I'm hopeless.
I knew it was a familiar name, I didn't know why. It's Sister Clare Croquett. She's from Derry.
Derry, in Ireland.
In
Right.
Ireland. She was, Catholic from Derry.
Yes.
And part of her story is living as a Catholic in Derry through the Troubles.
Oh, right.
And someone asked her when she was a nun, why didn't she have a British passport?
Oh.
She was Irish, and that caused great friction, as you
Wow.
understand.
Well, if she was Catholic, it would have
And
been problematic.
she was then incredibly kind. She did a pilgrimage around Ireland when she was in America.
Oh.
And they had a Protestant bus driver, and she was apparently incredibly kind to him.
Oh.
And apparently at one point they were made rude
Well,
remarks.
no reason not to be.
Well, they apparently made rude remarks, and she wasn't prepared to leave the bus somewhere because it wasn't safe.
Oh, because she was an Irish tinker and theft and all that accusation.
No, because, well, I mean, when you say tinker and theft, what did Cromwell do to Ireland?
Well, I'm just saying it's a bit stereotyping
it's a
the
bit
Irish
ripe.
into thieves, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit ripe. I mean,
Yeah.
Cromwell, basically, Northern Ireland, they call it the plantation.
Oh, it's plundered. Well,
They-
let's face it, the English plundered
Yeah,
everywhere.
and Cromwell...
You're not allowed to say
It goes
it.
right back to King John, but Cromwell settled huge numbers of people in Ireland, most of whom went on to America because they couldn't...
Yes.
And
Yeah.
Most of the Irish in America...
No
apparently
opportunity. Crushed.
Of Protestant descent, but they've forgotten that detail and become Catholics.
Oh, did they? So the Irish went over to America as Protestants
The
and became
majority of
Catholics?
people who were settled in Northern Ireland moved on within a generation.
Oh.
The land on which they were settled was not good.
Ah.
But the Protestants are there in Northern Ireland because Cromwell put them there.
Well, yes. Yes.
300 years later, the Catholics haven't forgotten.
Ah.
And,
Well, yes, I get it.
anyway,
Well, we're talking about...
Clare was born in Derry in the church that was built on the site of St. Columba's monastery. St. Columba, who went from Ireland to Scotland.
Yes.
And I say that because it never ceases to be, the holiness remains there. From a family who are very nationalist,
Yes.
had been practicing, but I'm not sure if they were practicing at this time. She was invited at the age of 17. She wanted to be an actress, had already got a part in a film, and was offered a job by Nickelodeon.
By who?
Nickelodeon.
No. Oh, the Odeon cinema
The people
family.
who
Yes.
now own the Odeon Cinema. Whole thing. They own a lot. They own the production studios in Hollywood, and offered her a job in Hollywood. She's 17. She's invited to go to Ireland, to go to Spain,
Yeah.
because her friend has got appendicitis.
Oh,
She gets offered her
that
place.
could have been deadly then.
Yeah, indeed. And she had a burst appendix, and she gets offered her place
Yes.
on the retreat in Spain, and only discovers when she goes to the meeting before they go that they're not going to Ibiza. She thought they were going to Ibiza.
Oh. It's not a holiday.
It's not a holiday, it's a retreat.
Oh.
And she is not pleased
Yes.
and says, I'm not going.
Right.
And they say to her, you've been given the place, you've got to go. So she goes. And she says, well, I'm not going to do it. She says, I'll sunbathe and smoke. And she goes, and she didn't go to Mass on Maundy Thursday. And she is smoking, and there are pictures of her sunbathing taken by her friends and smoking.
Oh, right.
And then she gets told that she's got to go to Mass on Good Friday because the place was paid for. So she says, okay, but I'll sit at the back. And when it comes to venerating the cross, they say, are you going up? And she says, no.
Oh.
And they say, well, yeah, you're given the place, you better go. So she goes. And she genuflects in front of the cross, as everybody did, and bursts into tears.
Why?
And says, he died for me.
Oh.
He loves me.
Oh, dear.
Nobody told me.
What do you mean nobody told her?
Why did nobody tell me? Why didn't anyone tell me?
I don't understand why she's...
And we'll watch the film, read the book.
Oh.
And she's still crying at the end of Mass.
Yeah.
And she gets asked if she wants to see a priest. And she ends up seeing the founder of the order because there were no priests there who spoke English. And she has to have a translator.
Oh.
And in the course of this, she says that she wanted to be famous and has this job lined up going to Hollywood.
Yes.
And says that she's going to give it all up and become a nun.
No. So she had a road to Damascus moment.
Indeed she did.
Wow.
And they thought that they would never see her again. And sure enough, she goes back to Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
Goes back to her boyfriend.
Oh.
And reading between the lines, she'd had more than one man.
Right.
Goes back to taking drugs. She's 17.
No.
Goes back to smoking.
Relapse.
Big time. Drinks more than she'd ever drunk.
Oh, no.
Goes to the nightclub in Derry every weekend.
Yeah.
Her friend going to the loo, so she goes with her. And is vomiting into the loo.
Oh, you're...
What do kids do,
Well, that's... I mean, I've never understood once you vomited once why you do it again, but, anyway.
And she hears a voice. She first thought someone was looking at her, and she thought they were standing on the toilet seat next door in the girls', and nobody there. And she hears a voice saying, how long are you going to hurt me?
Oh.
And she knew that it was the voice of Jesus.
Oh, dear.
Writes to the order in